Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here or you've been here before but have not subscribed yet, please do so, along with turning on the notification bell so you get the announcement of when I drop videos, just like this one. Also, thumbs ups and drop your comments. Big day, we're finally here, free agency day, June 30th, 2022. The Knicks actually did something today. They actually did something that has been rumored for quite a while. And let's get to it. Here it is. Get used to seeing that. Jalen Brunson will be wearing, well, blue and orange, and black and orange some nights, alongside RJ Barrett on the court. Now, there's some issues. There's some issues with this. Julius Randle is still on this team, and I'm not going to stop until Julius Randle is gone from this team. I will keep talking about it because there's no way to fully maximize the Jalen Brunson signing until Julius is elsewhere. But until then, I will discuss in this video how this could work. I will discuss the Brunson signing. I will discuss also the Isaiah Hartenstein signing, which I'm actually very pleased about. I've always liked him. I brought him up like a while ago, several months ago, actually on a live stream with Foxy. And also a Mitch update. But let's get to Mr. Brunson first. Here we go. Welcome to New York, Jalen. Welcome back to New York. Here it is. Knicks have officially signed Jalen Brunson to a 4-year deal. This is courtesy of Knicks Feed, taking the Woj bomb from ESPN. Chris Haynes tweeted this out. Free agent guard Jalen Brunson intends to agree to terms with the New York Knicks on a 4-year, $104 million deal. League sources tell Yahoo Sports. Now, I've also heard a 4-year, $110 million. So we're hearing different numbers. I'm sure it'll all be finalized at some point. But this one seems about right. A 4-year, 104. Apparently, there was going to be an offer from the Mavericks for a 5-year at $106 million. So this is a considerably better deal. However, they don't have state income tax in Texas. So I'm sure, and they probably thought, oh, you get to play with a winner, get to play with Luka. They probably thought they could sweeten the deal, but guess what? Jalen was supposed to have 2 meetings today. 2 meetings today. One was with the Miami Heat, and the other one was with the Dallas Mavericks concerning his free agency. Both meetings never happened. Apparently, Brunson canceled the Dallas meeting, and I think he canceled the Miami Heat meeting. They were supposed to be in New York City, of all places. So this guy wanted to be a Knick. He wanted to be a Knick, and Leon, his godfather, I think it's his godfather, made it happen. He may not be his godfather, whatever. He was his father's first agent. And here we got a tweet from Mark Berman. Good to see him back. You've been missed, Berman. I hope things are well with you. Here, Berman tweets out, Rick Brunson told confidants all season Jalen wanted to play for the Knicks, but concerned they couldn't open up cap space needed for a market value offer. He wasn't going to come. Jalen wasn't taking discount to play for Leon Rose, who is convinced Jalen is the winner/playmaker they need. So Leon Rose is convinced this is the guy. Well, I like conviction. I respect conviction. If he believes it and he got his guy, then we got to give him the benefit of the doubt. I do have doubts, considering now we're going to have 3 lefties in the starting unit until Randle's gone. That's why I keep bringing up Randle. And Jalen does feast, inside the arc. And Randle, feast is a kind word for what Randle does inside the arc. But, that's where he's been living, inside the arc lately, because last season his 3-point shooting was abysmal, despite other than the career year he had in 2020, 21, he really has not been he hasn't been a dependable 3-point shooter, so he's not an outside threat. So there's going to be some congestion, and I talked about it in videos previously. But however, at this moment, I'm going to embrace this signing, and I'm going to give this signing a B, a grade B. Could be a B+. There's also the possibility that Jalen hasn't peaked yet. Now, he had a tremendous playoffs where he averaged 21.6 points per game, 3.7 assists, almost 4 assists per game, almost 5 rebounds per game. So there's a chance that could be closer to who he really could be for the Knicks, which would be wonderful. If Brunson could average 21 points a game for the Knicks, that would be tremendous. Now, let's not get crazy. Last season, he averaged 16.8 points, so somewhere in between would be nice. Now, he's going to be, the lead point guard. You don't pay someone that much money and have them kind of just sit around. So, and he's not a big three-point threat. I've talked about this before. He only averages about 3 attempts per game. If he needs to increase that. There's got to be a mandate. He needs to get it up to at least 5 per game. And if he does that, he is actually a pretty decent percentage-wise three-point shooter. He just seems to pass up on those opportunities often, and he'd rather drive. I get it. I get the reason because, when he goes to the paint, he finishes at a tremendous clip. His field goal percentage from 0 to 3 feet out was 70.3%. From 3 feet to 10 feet, he shot 52.4%. From 10 to 16 feet, 51.8%. Those are outstanding numbers. And he's savvy, and like I said in the previous video, he's a winner. This guy, he's always won. I loved him at Villanova. His just from 16 feet to just inside the three-point line, he's 45%. Those are phenomenal numbers. However, the three-point shooting is what we need him to do. We need him to shoot the three. He's averaged 37.3% from the three-point line. But again, that's for his career. Again, that's only on 3 attempts per game. So he needs to up that. That's got to happen. And I think it will, because he's going to be playing with guys who are slashers, and he can't be, he's going to have to sit out in the paint. But also he in the corners, he's phenomenal in the corners, which is great because Thibodeau loves guys who can shoot at a high percentage from the corner. So I'm embracing this signing. We finally have a real bona fide point guard. Even though I want IQ to be the starting point guard on this team, I believe in IQ. I believe IQ can be a better player than Jalen Brunson. Call me crazy, but 3 years from now, I may be looking like a genius. So we'll see. Either way, we've added talent to the roster. Is it costing us a lot? Yes, it is. It is. But that is the name of the game. If you look at it this way, we got rid of Burks, who was the point guard for the second half of the season last year, and we got rid of Nerlens, who basically didn't play at all. We got rid of those 2 contracts, and we got rid of the other point guard, Kemba Walker, for the first half of the season, and we've replaced him with what I would say a top 50 player in the game. Maybe I'm being a little gracious. I think a lot of people do think of him as that way. I'm not totally sold on him being that way, but however, he's going to be paid as one. And let's say his better days are ahead. And you've heard, if you are a follower of this channel, you know that I've always said, if we're going to add players, let's add young players that can mesh with our young core whose better days are ahead of them. And Jalen might actually be that guy. So, open arms. I'm embracing this with open arms. I'll give it a B right now. It could be a B+. This is what I was telling you about. Look, he led the entire NBA. He was the leading scorer in this zone right here. That's about the 3 to 10 feet right there. 3 to 10 feet, I think. Yeah, right there. Last year, Julius totally owned the right baseline. This time, Jalen Brunson owns the left, just left of the paint right there, and you can see it. He can get to that spot pretty easily. I'll tell you one thing. Watching him, he makes tough shots when he gets into the lane, and he makes them. So he works hard to get in there, but he makes them at a tremendous clip. He finishes at the rim at over 70%. So that's just something that we didn't have, other than Derrick Rose. We just didn't have on this team. So we've just added an element that we desperately needed to this team. So keep your hearts open, your minds open to this signing, even though you've heard me try to talk us off of it, but it's happened. This is the leaders of this team have chosen to go down this direction, and I'm not going to hate on it until I actually see it happen. I wasn't a huge fan of the Kemba Walker signing originally, but I wanted to embrace it, with positivity. The Fournier signing, I was a lot more enthusiastic about it. It didn't start out well, but it sure ended well. One of the top 5 three-point shooters in the entire NBA, and he broke the Knicks record for most three-pointers in a single season. So that signing did turn out. Was it too much money? We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Here we go. The next signing. The Knicks have signed Isaiah Hartenstein to a 2-year deal. That's right. 2 years at $16.7 million. I think this is a very, very good signing, and I'm going to explain why. Here's a couple of tweets. Fred Katz tweeted this out. Fun fact on Isaiah Hartenstein. Opponents shot only 47.5% on dunks and layups this past season when Hartenstein was the closest defender, the second best figure in the NBA. So he gives you that rim protection, that paint protection that Thibodeau just drools over. He pops a boner whenever he sees some kind of, defensive stance by a center, by a big man in the paint. He just loves it. So hopefully, he'll be popping boners all season next season. And here we got Ian tweeted this out. League source confirms Knicks and Isaiah Hartenstein are in agreement on a 2-year deal. Barring something unforeseen, Hartenstein will back up Mitchell Robinson, who has been expected to resign with the New York Knicks. All right, so I'll get it. So he's still going. They're still planning on signing Mitch. I'll get into that a little bit later. But this here, I love this signing because if you think about this from this standpoint, before we get to that, think about it from this standpoint. So Hartenstein last season in just 18 minutes a game, he averaged almost 2.5 assists per game. For a big man, we don't have a big man on this team that can pass that like he can. So that's a new element that's been added to our team. So we added a new element of tremendous efficiency with Brunson, and now we're adding playmaking from the 5 position. Very exciting. Here's the other thing. 4.5 rebounds in those 18 minutes, 8.3 points, and he averaged 1.1 block per game in those 18 minutes. Now his per 36 stats are interesting. I'd like to look at those more when you're trying to judge what a backup does. Of course, backups do play against other backups, so you got to take that into account. However, in last season, he would have averaged 16.7 points per game per 36, almost 10 rebounds per game, almost 5 assists per game. So it would have been basically a 17, 10, and 5 guy from the center position for roughly $8 million plus a year. That is a value deal. Blocks 2.3 and steals 1.5 steals per game. So he even gives you some steals. And the season before, he was a 15, almost 12 rebound per game guy. His assists were 3.5 last season per 36. So you can see he's really embracing the playmaking role more. He's been in the league only 4 years, and he's played. This will be his 5th season and his 5th team. Interesting to think about that. All right, and here's the thing: his 3-point shooting. He doesn't do it. It's not a high volume. Not a high volume at all. I think he's only shot like 30 3-pointers last season or something like that. But he hit 14 of them for a 46.7%. I see that volume going up. He's going to be that kind of like semi-stretch 5 that we have been craving for, aching for, dying for. Oh, man. I've been dying for this kind of guy. And his from 3 to 10 feet, he hits it at 52%. So he has a little jumper at 52%. I mean, that's and his 10 to 16 feet, 56% he connects. Come on. How can you have any issues with this signing? This is an excellent backup center signing for the Knicks. And we also have Sims, who is more like Mitch. So the beautiful thing about this, also, bear in mind, his career true shooting percentage is 63.7%. And last season, it was his career high, a 66.4%. He shoots free throws at about 65%. He hits them at 65%. So look what the Knicks have done now. Think about those late fourth quarters that are tight. All right, and we still need some rim protection. He will probably be the guy that closes out those games now because he can give you floor spacing, can give you some rim protection, and he can hit his free throws if he's fouled at least. I mean, between Sims and Mitch, it was horrific. It's like at some point, if it's a tight game, you couldn't play them. But now we have a guy to alleviate that issue. And then there'll be nights when, the Knicks are just dominating and we need somebody to just keep protecting that rim and is a total lob threat. And that's what we have Mitch and Sims for those last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. This is a very well thought out signing. I am incredibly happy with this signing. Think about the difference. I mean, we got rid of Nerlens, who can't catch a pass, to Hartenstein, who can make a good pass. Think about that. This is a good signing. This is a good day for the Knicks. This is a good day for the Knicks. Despite how annoyed I was about draft night, this is a good day for the Knicks. Now, let me tell you something. I still think, and this is probably why in fact, let's get to the Mitch card here. Why the Mitch signing hasn't been announced. I think they're trying to rejigger some of the deals that haven't been officially consummated. Like, I believe the Kemba Walker deal. There's some deals that haven't been completely finalized. Maybe they're trying to rework them to get some mid-player exemptions, to get some further consideration, some further value out of this situation so they can sign more players or open up more money. There is a possibility, though, that they did not need to trade away that 11th pick to be able to do all of this maneuvering. There is a chance that could have been, and that's why I was a little bit annoyed at that. However, I can see from their point of view that, look, we already have what we believe is an excellent young core, and we need to give those guys more minutes. They've already proven themselves than bringing in, someone completely new, a rookie. And apparently their guys that they were after were gone by 11. So, but I disagree with that. I disagree with that decision. However, what they've done since then, I am very much happy and in favor of. Now here, Mitch, people are wondering, why isn't Mitch signed yet? Well, it's out there that they've settled on somewhere like a 4 for $60 million deal. So about $15 million per. A little bit more than Robert Williams III, but in the same vicinity. In my opinion, I mean, I know a lot of people love Williams. They like him better than Mitch. I like Mitch's game a lot better. I do. And I think if and we saw that he can actually hit a little jumper once in a while. We just need him to take 2 jumpers a game, 2 or 3 a game. It would change everything. And maybe we won't be so dependent on Hartenstein in those fourth quarters. We'll have some options. We'll have some options. So Mitch, please work on that jumper. Work on some kind of offensive game. We've already talked about that to death. But I would expect that the Mitch signing is very imminent. It might happen. It might even be announced later tonight or tomorrow, I would imagine. That's my guess on that one. Now, when you think about this situation right now with the Knicks and Brunson. So right now at point guard, here's the depth chart. We have Brunson, IQ, and D Rose. That's the depth chart in point guard. Shooting guard, Fournier, Grimes, and Deuce. Now, Deuce, of course, can play point, but he'll be listed as the shooting guard in the depth chart. Small forward, we're a little thin. We have RJ and Cam. Good thing is Cam has survived so far. I'm a big believer in Cam. I think Cam's going to have a tremendous season next season, so I'm glad he's still with us. But who knows if he'll actually be there on the opening night. Power forward, we still have Julius Randle, which is still causes me some PTSD every once in a while when I think about him. Still on the Knicks, but he's here. We got to deal with it. And Obi. Love me some Obi Toppin. Now, Taj is still on the roster. He could get cut at some point if they need that extra $5 million. Not sure. And Taj is considered a power forward / center. But now we have 3 centers, which is, if we re-sign Mitch, which it looks like we're going to, Hartenstein and Jericho Sims. So that's our depth chart. We're a little thin on small forward. However, Grimes can play some small forward. And so can Fournier, can play some small forward. So there's some flexibility here and there. Derrick Rose still seems like an odd fit in this team right now. And I'm a little worried about if D Rose stays on this roster, what's going to happen with that second unit? Is it going to be IQ and D Rose, and then Deuce is just situational? Because Grimes is going to have to play. So Grimes and Cam are going to have to battle for those power forward minutes. It seems still a little murky. Not really understanding how that's going to shake out. But I will say this. I think if this is what we have and we don't do any major moves right now other than filling some gaps here and there. Also, don't forget we have Keels, who will probably be on a two-way contract, who is an interesting player. I think he was the youngest player in the entire draft. He had some good moments at Duke. I haven't done a full deep dive. I'll put out a video about Keels and Montero soon. Maybe over the weekend I'll put that out. But this is what should happen. This is what should happen. For the Knicks, if this roster stays as I just talked about, Evan Fournier must be moved to the second unit, and Quentin Grimes needs to be the starting two guard on this team. And I'll explain why. Brunson, despite all the positive things he brings onto the team offensively, he's a liability on the defensive end. We cannot have Brunson with the traffic cone Fournier as our backcourt. It'll just be a disaster. Thibs will lose the last 3 hairs that he has on his head, and we will all be, screaming at the top of our lungs, from this whole situation. So the only thing that makes sense is Fournier shifts to the second unit, and he becomes that sniper, that bona fide scorer for that second unit with IQ, with Obi. Remember, Fournier started developing a bit of a lob game with Mitch, and I'm not sure he did it with Jericho, but I definitely saw that later on as the season went on. He was looking for Mitch often for the lob, so maybe he can utilize that with Obi. I think that would be a nice. So the starting five could be Brunson, Grimes, RJ, pains me to say it, Randall, and Mitch. Okay? Then, second unit, to me, second unit, it just has to be, if Derrick Rose is still on this team, it's going to be D Rose, IQ, Fournier, Obi, and Hartenstein. Cam is going to have to be situational. Cam's going to have to battle for minutes. And remember, there's always illnesses, there's always injuries, so he will get his shot. And if Cam gets his shot and he starts earning it, that means that it could free Leon up to find a home for Fournier midway through the season. And remember, Fournier is a tremendous three-point shooter. We can't lose that. We have to have that ability. We also have the flexibility to play a little more positionless basketball. So there will be times when Brunson is not on the court, when we need height all the way around. So I see kind of the vision. I see the vision now. I see the vision that Leon and Thibs and the rest of the team are seeing. Do I love it? I don't love it. Do I like it? I like it. Is it going to be a better team than last season? Yes, it's going to be a better team than last season. But I still think that just the way last season was vulnerable at the beginning, when you looked at the situation on the roster with a Kemba, with a Fournier, and depending on Julius to replicate his All-NBA season, I still see that as the fissure that could totally splinter the whole situation. If Randall doesn't accept his role on this team, all of this will go to shit very quickly. So if Randall's still on this team, and Randall, if you happen to be watching this or anyone talks to him is watching this, you have to embrace the style of a style of play that's going to make your teammates better. It's going to make your life better, and we will love you for it. Because if you can transform yourself back to the version that you were in 2020, 21, you don't have to give us the numbers. We're talking about the style of play, but give us the efficiency. The efficiency is what we need. You're not going to have the ball in your hands all the time. You're not. That's going to be Brunson. RJ's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. You're going to share that. Don't pout. Embrace it. This is your new life. Remember, you came to New York to be a winner. That was what you said. Well, and you wanted to be challenged. Well, this is the challenge for you, brother. Let's do it. Do it. You can do it. I know you can. It's in you. It's just up here are the issues. And the ego. Let all that go. because the glory will come back your way if you let all that go. And I can say that for anybody, honestly. I have to look in the mirror often myself about same things, same issues with ego and expectations. So that's my eulogy, not eulogy. That's my little pep talk for Julius and the rest of the Knicks. I give overall, so far, the beginning of the postseason, I give the Knicks a B. Like a solid B. Not like a nearing B minus, like nearing a B plus. I still don't like the draft night. I think they did too many maneuvers, and we could have ended up with Duren. That would have been an interesting situation. So, but neither here nor there. That's gone. Time to look forward, move forward, and let's hope that there's more good news to come. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Please subscribe. We're getting closer to 6,000 followers. We'd love to get through that soon. Maybe this weekend. All right, hit that thumbs up button for me and drop your comments. I want to hear your feelings about all the signings and where the Knicks are headed. Anything I've said here, whether you agree or disagree, it helps me definitely tremendously. All right, I will see you around